feels weird. I don't have any headphones on. You can see my ears. Ew. Hey guys. Hi Hools. Welcome back to the Daydream Arcade. My name is Brianna. You may be wondering where a certain someone else is. And I'm here to tell you that I may have locked him in a box somewhere that he can't get out right now. But he will be returning soon. I'm just not gonna tell you when. But yeah, so today we're back with another unheard Reddit stories. So it's just gonna be a collection of stories that didn't make like a final cut of a video. Yeah, it's just gonna be another episode of the Reddit stories unheard. So hope you guys enjoy it very much. We will be back to normal very soon. Bear with us. It's just been a little bit of a time in all of our personal lives, but that's gonna be completely back to normal very soon. We hope you guys enjoy this video and all of the stories. Let us know your thoughts and yeah, anything else. Love you guys very much. Enjoy the video. Okay. So, my next one was posted on relationship advice. Title is, My 30 female husband, 33 male, accused me of murder out of the blue. How do I salvage this?
What? I must know.
This is long and ridiculous. Sorry. My husband, Luke, had a sister, Laura. We were all close and saw each other 2 to 3 times a month, along with their parents. Almost 6 months ago, Laura fell down the stairs at their family home and died. It was a freak accident. There's a window on the half landing and she hit her head on the sill. I was the last person to see her. I was there for less than 10 minutes and she was in her pajamas making coffee. I didn't even stay for a drink. And I struggle with how such a brief and meaningless interaction could have been her last. She deserves so much more. My husband and I have only been married for a year, but we've been together for 4 and have known each other for 20 plus. When Laura's parents found her, they called my husband straight away and we rushed over. We faced the whole thing as a family. In the days after, Luke started quizzing me. Exactly what we talked about, what she was wearing, where we were standing, etc. It progressed to saying I was providing conflicting information on tiny details he was deliberately misunderstanding, and accusing me of withholding information because I couldn't tell him things like what pajamas she was wearing. This escalated quickly but lasted for less than a week, as I lost my cool and made it clear that I was done answering questions. He didn't bring it up again and I wrote it off as a grief quirk. His behavior was generally that of a normal grieving person. Last Friday, he outright accused me of murdering her in front of his parents. Out of the blue. We were all stunned. There was an inquest which recently concluded, and there was never any doubt the verdict would be accidental death. He said it was completely obvious and he couldn't believe that no one else could see it. He claims I went through his phone and found his messages with Laura. I have absolutely no idea what messages he's talking about. I have never looked at his phone, and that I went over to confront her and things quote unquote got out of hand and I pushed her downstairs. By the end, he was shouting about going to the police and getting the inquest overturned and how I wasn't going to get away with it. Let me be clear. Laura and I had a great relationship. We all did. I have no idea where this has come from other than these messages I haven't seen. And even then, I don't think there's anything I could ever see on someone's phone that would drive me to murder. It's just ridiculous. He's been with his parents since this happened and will not talk to me at all. I've had some contact with his mom, but she's not being very communicative. The last I heard, she didn't know what messages he was referring to either. I'm still completely stunned and I have no idea how to proceed. I made a commitment to be there for him always, and I understand that grief can manifest in strange ways, but part of me feels like my love for him died the second he called me a murderer, and I don't know how we could possibly work through this. I also really don't want to be thought of in this way, and I have no idea if he has said anything to people we know. I obviously haven't. A brain tumor or psychotic break has crossed my mind, and I suggested it to his mother, and she just said she'll talk to him. Other than the questions before, he hasn't been acting odd. Obviously, he's been grieving, but he seems sane and sensible other than this. I feel like I'm going mad. Does anyone have any advice at all?
Lawyer up, sister.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would very much,
Lawyer up.
I would very much get a lawyer.
This is a very serious accusation.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being at some sort of little gathering with your family, even if it's not like, like for you're just in, I'm not talking about like a big palooza kind of evening. I'm talking about you're just hanging with the in-laws or whatever, parents, and like just getting accused of murder,
like in front of like in front of all the in-laws and like the person who is deceased now's family. Like that's I wouldn't know what the fuck to say, because I'd be like, is all of you, is that what everyone here is thinking? Like,
yeah,
Because she was just because she was the last person to see her, like.
And also the accusing her of going through his messages and stuff like that.
Yeah, like what the fuck could he be talking to, like with his sister about?
Right.
Obviously, it has to have been something fucking crazy. Because why the fuck would she murder her? Like that's
right.
That's just insane. I feel like he's letting the guilt about whatever the fuck he was talking to his sister about, like, that's like manifesting into anger.
Everyone deals with grief in their own way when it comes to death and all that stuff. No, I would say you might want to look into getting a lawyer if you can. And I don't know, also talking to somebody about it could also...
My man needs some counseling, some grief counseling.
Yeah, and also OP needs some counseling too, just so that
I can't imagine
they can have some help processing this whole thing, because grief can do some pretty wild things to people.
So OP did reply to a few comments that I'm going to read. The first one is the top comment. Person said, "Fuck no, you don't salvage this. You get a lawyer and get the fuck out." Best case scenario, He has just admitted to sending messages that with his sister that he thinks would make you angry enough to kill her over them. I have some ideas about what those might be, and they're all bad. How did the parents react when he did this? And OP responded saying, when he first laid out the accusation at his parents' house, both his mother and I just kept asking him about the messages, and all he would say was that I know exactly what messages he was talking about. She was as stunned as me, and his father just said he didn't understand what he was talking about. He's a man of few words, but there was plenty of head shaking. The whole thing was surreal. No one knew how to react. I honestly don't know what kind of lawyer I would even speak to about this. From what I'm aware, the coroner's decision can't be appealed, and the police can't launch an investigation into an accidental death. I don't think I'm quite ready for divorce. We haven't spoken since his accusation, and I walked out about 5 minutes after he threw it out. And I have no idea what his frame of mind is. Then someone replied to that saying, "You want to live with the person that thinks you're a murderer?" There's not really any coming back from that, especially when he thinks he has this evidence. This isn't some accident or grief, in my opinion. Even if tomorrow he says, "Sorry, you're not a murderer," there's no going back. That trust is gone. You need to worry about yourself. Speak to a divorce lawyer. You don't need to sign yet, but you should start planning an exit strategy. OP responded to that saying, "Unfortunately, I think that's where I am. For the past week, I've been telling myself I'm going to get a call saying he's been detained for mental health reasons, but nothing is happening, and my patience is wearing thin with the silence. There would have to be an extremely good reason for me to stay after this, to the point that I'm even quietly hoping for a brain tumor over a mental break, because that comes with solid proof that these aren't his own thoughts and feelings. I'm clutching at straws."
This might be a little extreme, but to me, even quietly hoping for a brain tumor and like all that still doesn't necessarily excuse the getting over the I still wouldn't be able to get over the you murdered my sister part.
Yeah. I do know that like brain tumors can definitely completely change like how your brain works and like the 100%. Thoughts you have it and like the way you're acting.
100%. But I couldn't forget that.
Yeah, it's very spicy. I'm going to read 2 more comments that OP replied to. This other comment said, "You need to get a lawyer to protect yourself in case he does go to the police. I would write down everything that you can remember that happened that day and keep it just in case. You may be having a psychotic break. As stated, don't talk to him or his immediate family or your friends without someone present, or preferably by text or email. Save everything. You need to take his accusation seriously and cover your ass." OP replied saying, "I was interviewed by the coroner's office after her death, and I was the last person to see her. She died about 3 hours after I saw her, and I'd been to the supermarket and was home by that point. It's all verifiable and was a recorded interview. I haven't spoken to anyone but his mother, and that's only been over messages. She's never been a big texter, but she has seemed very cagey over the past few days. I don't know if this means she's seen the messages I've asked and been ignored." And then someone replied saying, "I think they mean record everything you remember about the day your soon-to-be ex accused you of murder." And then OP replied, "I'm feeling so freaked out at the idea that he came up with this almost immediately after her death, and has either been sitting on it or planning his confrontation, that I'm basically trying to dissect the past 6 months. Maybe it's time I start writing things down. Right until it happened, some things felt very normal. Obviously, her death has been felt deeply by all of us, and things aren't anything like they were, but there have been no signs of anything like this, even on the day." Yeah, that's spicy. I really think it just comes down to what the fuck the messages entail, that he thinks you would get to that point of fucking hurting his sister.
Right.
I really don't. I can't imagine. And I genuinely wish nothing but the best for OP. And I hope that they can all figure out what the fuck is going on and why the fuck he would even think of accusing her of doing that.
Yeah. Because, you know, there's a lot of things in, like, marriages and relationships or even friendships, you know, boundaries that you don't cross, things that you don't say to any other person. Like, you look awful today. You are turning into your mother. You are a murderer.
Yep. My next post was posted on Am I the Weenie? Title is, My daughter just contacted me after 17 years asking if I want to meet my granddaughter. Am I the weenie for telling her that I don't care about her or her daughter and to never contact me again? I am not sure if I am a weenie. Going to provide some background. I am in my 60s now. I was married to my ex-wife and we had a daughter. Our marriage was going through its ups and downs, but I was really close with our daughter. But as our marriage, as a father should be, but as our marriage was going through its difficulties, I made a huge mistake I still regret to this day. I started having an affair with my coworker. She was in a violent, physically abusive relationship at home. We became friends at work and things just escalated from there. She got a quote unquote an out from me. She got the support she needed to file for divorce from her husband, who is currently in jail now. The affair went nowhere and we called it off shortly after. But I was glad that she got off her abusive relationship and that she was safe. But when my ex found out about the affair, things expectedly didn't go well. She lashed out and said a lot of horrible things about me to our daughter, who was 15 at the time. I admitted full fault with the affair, but even after the divorce, I sensed that the distance between me and my daughter was growing. Until one day, my daughter said she wasn't going to speak with me anymore, and she was going to cut me off from her life forever. That was the most painful thing anyone had ever said to me. I begged her to please reconsider. I still remember that day. But time passed on. My daughter kept her word, and after trying to connect with her for the first year, I gave up. I found out from one of my mutual friends that my ex-wife married a great guy. I was happy because I was hoping that would remove the hatred from my ex-wife, and my ex-wife would advise our daughter to at least rekindle a relationship with me. But that never happened. I moved states a year later. I'm at peace now, but still have some aching sadness. I have retired. Both my parents have passed away. My brother passed away tragically a couple of years ago. To be honest, I am waiting for my turn. I only have my dog and my sister left. Putting the dog first is so funny. A couple of hours ago, my daughter called me on my phone. I haven't spoken to her in 17 years. I instantly recognized her voice, but I didn't feel anything. No happiness, no sadness, just indifference. She was crying a lot on the call, and we caught up on life. She's married, and she has a daughter who's 12. She apologized for cutting off contact, and she says her mom asked her to reconnect with me, as her mom felt guilty about how everything played out. She said she really wanted me to meet her daughter, and her daughter was constantly asking about granddaddy, but I wasn't feeling anything. After we caught up on everything in our life, I told her I don't care about her and her daughter, and to never contact me again. I then hung up. Was I the weenie?
Oh man. Definitely for saying that last bit.
Yep.
You know, I want to start off by saying I don't think, you know, for anybody that gets cut off from a friend or a family member, you don't necessarily have the right to try and make your way back into someone's life. You know, I mean, it's always, you know, you're more than welcome to try, but sometimes people separate themselves from other people for good reasons. But it really seems to me like it was you play stupid games and you win stupid prizes kind of deal with them on the mom's side. Of course, I mean, like she's totally valid in, you know, in the way that she feels, because that's just the way that she conditioned herself to, you know, be at, as she says, to be at peace with the whole situation. But part of me is just like, if there's still some aching sadness, then at least to me that feels like there's part of you that would want to reconnect, or, you know, at least have some sort of more positive resolution. But going back to the beginning, the mom chose to have the affair.
What
the OP, they didn't say that they had an affair with their coworker.
The mom? This is the dad.
Or the dad, sorry.
I was
Jesus
like,
Christ.
What? Sometimes I feel like you just check out when I start reading. We became friends at work, and things just escalated from there.
Sorry, I'm dealing with my mom on the other end of this, so this is like really hitting home for me right now. I really should have just not looked at my phone. I'm sorry, bestie. I'll take it on this one.
What was I gonna say? So there's a small little update but I'm going to read this comment first. It's by AF Spouse 123.
I'm looking right at it.
You're the weenie. I hate when adults make very bad adult decisions that affect their children and then blame the children when they respond in a very childlike manner. Your daughter was a teenager. That is a rough time for kids, even when their home life is stable. You gave her 1 whole year before you cut bait and gave up on her. Then you moved away. You told your daughter that she wasn't important enough to fight for, and she believed you. Now that she is an adult with a child of her own, she has reached out to you, and you again told her she wasn't important to you. She now knows she was probably right to cut you out the first time. I agree. To give up after just a year, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. After a whole year.
And that's your daughter who was 15? So you had 15 whole years with your daughter, and then after 1 year you said, all right, this isn't worth it anymore.
This ain't worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's fucked. This story also kind of hits home for me because I don't know how deep I want to get into this.
I mean, as deep as you want to get?
Because
we'll get deep.
I have a family member who decided to cut off another family member, including me, for something that did not involve them. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just an all-around shitty situation. And I don't think after a year you should give up on having a fucking relationship with your daughter.
Yeah.
Because with my family member and the one who has cut off everybody, my other family member who was cut off is still trying to reach out to that person, And it's been 17 years, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's kind of fucking pathetic of you to just give up after a year. You're a piece of shit, to be honest. So yeah, I would think you're a weenie.
Yeah.
There is a little update that I'm going to read that. Look, I was extremely drunk last night. The words, fucking pussy.
All right.
The words which came out of my mouth weren't the best, and my comments on my post weren't great either. Seeing how everyone said I was the weenie, I decided to call my daughter again an hour ago. I didn't really expect her to pick up the call, but she picked up immediately. I apologized for last night, and she said there was no need to apologize. I then sent her a link to this Reddit post on messages and told her I know I was the weenie, and thousands said so. She again said I wasn't the weenie. She started crying again. I told her she's free to come to my house anytime the next 4 months, because after that I will be leaving the country with my sister and our dog. Our parents left us a nice farmhouse in their home country, and we will be spending the rest of our lives there. I sent her my address on messages, and my daughter said she'd come with her husband and her daughter by the end of next week. She asked if she was welcome to stay there for multiple days, and I told her she could stay for however long she wanted, and our house was spacious enough. Well, at least...
Happy ending question mark?
At least he realized he was a fucking idiot. And, I'm very glad that the daughter is really forgiving, because I imagine she doesn't feel the best, completely cutting him off. But, she also could have just been like, fuck you, you gave up after a year.
I also don't even know how much she tried, and when she's she tried for a year. Granted, that is a very small amount of time, in my opinion, to go and then just be like, not done. But I don't know how often they had tried to reach out. They never said, I guess, but exactly how frequent it was, I don't know. There are some people that I haven't spoken to in years, and it's not that we left off on bad terms, but just haven't talked to them in years and used to speak to them a lot. And when I see posts like this, even if it doesn't have, especially I guess if it doesn't have a problem, for in terms of nothing caused the distance, it's just Father Time gets us all, physically, timeline-wise. It's wild.
Yeah.
But you spent a year, and that was it.
That's it, bruh.
Meh. But at least they contacted each other again.
Yeah.
They might come over with their daughter and husband, so,
And that also means, if she was 15 when it happened, and then gave her a year. So she was 16 years old when you decided, I don't really give a fuck anymore. That's wild.
I mean, they might be young, but that's still...
That's your daughter, dude.
This is a lot to them. So...
no wonder she didn't fucking speak to you for 17 years. She was probably like, damn, I really meant nothing, huh? But alright, I'm done.
Alright, so my post here is from Petty Revenge. It's posted by Love on the Brain. My ex ghosted me. Love on a brain. My ex ghosted me, so I found a way that he'll have to see my face every day.
Let's go.
This was a while ago, and I'm over him now. But 2 years ago, I dated a coworker. Parentheses. I know now that was a mistake. I was barely in my 20s when this happened. What are your thoughts about dating coworkers?
Ooh, I think it's a spicy situation. I think,
Yeah.
because, like, let's say it doesn't work out, then y'all got to see each other every day.
Yeah. Which most of the time it doesn't. I'm just going to be completely honest right now. It usually doesn't.
Yeah.
So
And then
if you're thinking about dating your coworkers,
maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do that.
and if you're currently dating a coworker,
Eee.
be careful. They're behind you.
And it could risk your job as well. Because let's say, again, it doesn't end well. They could try to do some petty revenge shit and fuck with your job. And then that's your income. It's your livelihood that's fucked with.
Yep. We started as friends and hung in the same cities until we couldn't deny the attraction anymore. A couple months into dating, we were planning on moving in together and maybe even getting married one day. We were inseparable, and he was so affectionate with his words and actions. Hey, babe, you want a yoo-hoo? You want to finish my can of yoo-hoo?
You want to fuck a yoo-hoo?
It sounded like you said you want to fuck a yoo-hoo.
You want to fuck a yoo-hoo?
But then I got a promotion that required me to go out of state. We decided to do long distance for a while, and I would keep a lot of my stuff at his place until I moved back. Then we would live together. Unfortunately, a month into long distance, he ghosted me. There was no indication that things were going wrong, so I was devastated and blindsided. I had never been in a relationship before, so this was my first heartbreak. But the most annoying part was that he refused to acknowledge my existence, even just as friends. We were in similar group chats, and he would just skip over my comments. He would go out of town when I came in town, and he would get mad at me for hanging out with our mutual friends. Parentheses, I found out through the grapevine that it was one of the few things I knew about him after the breakup. Eventually, I moved on and met someone new, but I was still very hurt that someone who I once considered a great friend would just cut me out of my life for no reason. So here's where the petty revenge comes from. We have a company homepage that shows different slides of employees doing things like receiving awards or special events. The homepage plays on the TV screens at work as well as the computers. One day, the company sent an email asking for pictures with a prompt. So I chose the prettiest picture of myself I could find and a nice fluffy photograph to go with it.
Paragraph.
Now the ex that ghosted... What did I say?
Photograph.
Ah, damn it.
I chose a pretty picture of myself and a nice photograph.
Look at this paragraph. One day, the company sent an email asking for pictures with a prompt. So I chose the prettiest picture of myself I could find and a nice fluffy paragraph to go with it. Now the ex that ghosted me has to see my face every time he walks into work and opens up his computer. A revenge a year in the making. Edit. When I said I met someone new, that was later down the road, and I'm not with the someone new anymore. Sorry for the confusion. The revenge and the dating a new person didn't happen at the same time.
Slay. Yeah, I think what would have pissed me off is, like, she said she left some stuff at his place. So when she would come back, like, they would live together. It's like, give me my shit back. Like,
yeah,
what
where's
the
her
fuck?
stuff? Where's that update?
Got me fucked up, dude. God, I hate pathetic ass people, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bro, just say you can't handle long distance. Why start it and then ghost? That's stupid. I hate men. Just kidding.
No, I mean, like, being ghosted fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I've been ghosted before. Like, I mean, I'm not perfect. Like, I may have ghosted some people before. But,
No,
you know,
I've definitely ghosted people, and then I also have been ghosted. So it's like, it's give and take. Give and take.
it balances out.
Yeah.
It balances out. You know, what's like one of the most cringy, if you don't mind diving into it, what's like one of the most cringiest ways that you've been ghosted, and how did you react to such thing?
There was this one person I was talking to, and like it really felt like things were going very well. Like, we had really good conversations. We were sending like voice notes and shit back to each other.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and like being like whatever. And then just I never got a response back. I was like, oh, I'll go kill myself.
Yep. Like you and I are still playing some sort of like Battleship game or Connect 4 on Apple Games or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've ghosted people too.
Yeah.
I think the one time I got ghosted and did something pretty cringy back. I guess this could count as my own petty revenge, but it wasn't really revenge. I was I think I was maybe like 22, 23, and I had just gone through like a breakup, and I was kind of getting back into dating, I guess, and shit just wasn't working out. You know, you have dating apps, you know, you talk to people for a while, then it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yep.
It's just the natural circle of life of dating apps. And
sometimes it
I
works
went on
out.
sometimes it works out. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think that I believe we and this person that I was talking to, we ended up going on a date. We ended up going to like multiple different spots during the date, so I thought it was going great, you know.
Yeah.
And then we went. I think we went to like a museum. Then we went to get food, and then we went to go look at like Christmas lights or something. And then just never heard from them ever again. And it was around the holidays, so it was. It sucked because it was like one of you know, and it's not their fault, they didn't even know, but it was like one of like the times where I was like starting to feel like really lonely. I had like kind of like just gotten used to being on my own, living without like my parents, and kind of like I had roommates and stuff, but you know, I was going through a little bit of a depression, I guess, and this doesn't excuse what I did, but I ended up like this ghosting was kind of just like it for me, so I kind of like I messaged them back, right? And it was just like, hey, it's not nice to ghost people, basically. And like I look back at that dude, and I'm just like, oh god, you should have taken the hint, brother.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
like,
One thing about
listen,
me is when I get ghosted, you will not hear from me again. I will never.
Yeah. No, trust me. That's usually the case with me, but for some reason, this one was different. This one hit different.
You said, what the fuck?
You know, I don't believe I wasn't mean or anything, but I was just like, hey, like this is really rude.
Hey,
like I
that
really
was not
liked you.
nice, actually.
And you know, and they ended up apologizing, and you know, it was kind of just like, I hope you have a good new year, and then it was like, you too, and then like that was that. But man, I look back at like when people say like,
responded?
yo, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, obviously at that point they were responding out of pity for my sorry cringe ass, but
God.
you know, listen.
I'm getting secondhand embarrassment.
Bro, listen, I lived through it. I have gone through the cycle of cringe with that one.
Yeah.
And now the whole internet knows.
Yeah. Hey, man. Life's a fucking highway. You got to live through cringe moments. It builds character.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that it says, you know, I mean, a lot of my favorite creators have, you know, shared like embarrassing stories about themselves in,
No one's
perfect. Past lives. No one's perfect. So yeah, if you're gonna take anything away from this story, you know, it's okay to be cringe as long as you learn from that cringe.
It's okay to be cringe.
Yeah. All right. Haven't done one of these in a minute, but we're gonna venture into unpopular opinions. This was posted by Flashpoint. Firm handshakes are completely unnecessary. Okay. Before we give our own takes, I want to hear OP's take here. I meet a lot of new people in my line of work. Usually this begins with an introduction and a handshake. I've noticed that anytime someone, usually men, shakes my hand, they try to crush it as a show of, I don't know, dominance. I have a lingering knuckle injury on my right hand, so anytime this happens, it really fucking hurts. But when you meet someone for the first time, it's going to be awkward if it goes like, hi, nice to meet you. What the hell, man? You don't need to crush someone's hand when you introduce yourself. It's a handshake, not an arm wrestle. Edit. I don't give dead fish, limp noodle, or dainty handshakes. I'm a big guy with big hands, and I give a solid handshake. For everyone saying they prefer their hand be crushed rather than shake hands with a dead fish, good for you. I hope it hurts.
He said, I'm a big guy with big hands.
The Hulk hand toys? Yeah, like that's kind of how it feels sometimes. With a master plan.
I mean, I agree. I don't think you should fucking, like, rip their fucking hand off when you're going in for a handshake. Well, like
my take on that is if you're trying to crush their hand during that handshake, that is not a firm handshake. You're just being an asshole. Personally, like I've been through all the different types of handshakes, and as a streamer who's gone to conventions, as someone who's just like met a bunch of people in my life, I have gone through so many different types of handshakes, as I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
And
I feel, to be honest, as a woman, I feel like it's not as common to shake hands,
sure.
I guess. For us, it's more kind of like usually it's like a hug sometimes, or it's just kind of like
even
a,
if
hey,
it's
how
like
are you?
in a business setting? Oh yeah, I guess a hi, how are you?
Yeah. Like, I definitely have fucking shook hands with people before, especially like if it's like an interview or something, and I'm like, oh, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Shake your hand.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, if it's in like a non-formal setting and like you're introducing like yourself, a lot of women like go for a hug or like, or just like, you just stand there and be like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm whatever.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with like either a handshake or like a wave.
Yeah.
And even if in like a fist bump or like an elbow bump, I know we're still, be safe out there, everyone. When I personally, have we ever shook hands, you and me? Have we ever shook hands?
What? That would be so fucking weird. I hugged you the first time I met you.
I know. Yeah. But what's weird? When I first met you in person, I didn't believe that it was actually you.
Really?
For a minute, when you meet someone for the first time and you're like, and you're kind of like, you have to do like a double take, like, oh shit, that's them. Yeah.
Because it was like the three of us. It was like me, Kat, and Clarissa, and we were just waiting for you guys.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like it was me, Norm, Eggy. So it's like you have like an Asian man, a black man, and a really like tall Italian man just walking through Quincy Market.
Yeah, and we're like, hey,
just like, that's got to be them.
Yeah.
Anyway, like when I shake someone's hand, I'm not going to crush their hand, but I'm gonna have like some sort of a grip in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
good to be firm, but not like a fucking.
Yeah, it's good to be firm, and I've had the handshakes with mostly like bosses that I've had where go in and like shake and they're trying to fucking break my hand, dude.
Yeah, that's
weird. Like, what the fuck, man?
That's just
like
odd.
I get it. I have I don't have tiny hands, but like my hands are
tiny
like
baby hands.
Will, can you like make my hands tiny? I like somewhere that's just firm and understanding.
Yeah.
Because I've gone up and shaken someone's hand and their hand was completely limp. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of awkward.
It is, right?
Awkward.
Because it's like, why am I just throwing your hand around? Like,
kind of makes me feel like you don't want to meet me.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, sorry. Were we not supposed to do that? Did you not want to shake hands? My bad.
Yeah. But if anybody ever in the future meets me in person, or if you meet Brianna in person, like, I'm not gonna crush your hand. If you want a handshake, I'll give you a handshake. If you want,
I'll even give you a hug, dude. Yep. I'm a hugger.
I'll give you a
honestly.
hug. I'll give you a fucking hug.
I enjoy giving people hugs, unless you're weird. Then, if you like come off weird right off the bat, I might not hug you. But if you're cool, I will absolutely hug you.
Yeah. And most of the time when I'm out in public, I got nowhere else to be. So don't follow me, of course. But
follow him to
but
wherever he's going.
If you have something to say, like, totally come up to me. Like, I'm totally approachable, as opposed to that last story.
Except that one time where he just completely ignored that person and kept walking.
Yeah. I was scared for my life.
I was scared. Holy shit, dude. That's so funny. Hools, hope you enjoyed that bad boy. Ooh, stories you haven't heard. Ooh. Yeah, guys, if you are interested in watching all the other spicy Reddit videos, we have an entire playlist dedicated just to those videos. So if you feel like binging it, go fucking crazy. We saw in a few of the comments that you guys have binged the fucking playlist, and that is crazy, dude. Means a lot. So, also, if you want all of the spicy Reddit videos in audio format and just take it on the go, it's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and anywhere else that you can get your podcasts. So if you want to listen to that on the go, check that out, brother, and rate it 5 stars. You can also leave comments on Spotify, dude. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.